What is good, YouTube, and welcome back to a brand new video. In all my time doing Charlotte Hornets rebuilds with Lamelo Ball on the roster, I don't think there's a single time that I even thought about trading him away until today, that is. Now, obviously, this video is just pure speculation and mostly entertainment purpose value. I want to do a video where Lamelo Ball basically gets impatient with with how things have been going in Charlotte. They have not had any postseason time at all with him. Obviously, they've made the play in a couple of times, got blown out both times. And is there a world where maybe the Hornets decide, based off having a new front office, do they trade him, or do both parties agree, or does he request a trade? I do think it's a possibility, and again, this is all pure speculation. So we're going to jump into 2K25 and do a trade Lamelo Ball, Charlotte Hornets rebuild in 2K25. Before we get into today's video, make sure you guys drop a like on this one and subscribe if you're new to this channel. As always, greatly appreciated. YouTube tells about 57% of the people that watch these videos aren't actually subscribed. So if you do fall in that 57%, want to change that, that would be greatly appreciated. So my controller's off to start things off, so let's fix that right now. And now let's take a look at the roster. So obviously, Charlotte is not good right now. They're 14-46 on the season. They have quite a few injuries with, Grant Williams getting hurt early in the year, Brandon Miller as well. So obviously, tough for them, but they've not been good, and they'll have a good lottery pick. So is there a world where they get the number 1 or number 2 overall pick and they decide to maybe go ahead and trade away Lamelo and reset things again? I definitely think that's a huge possibility. They obviously traded Mark Williams at the deadline. They wanted to get rid of him, and I think they got a great return for him. And obviously, we all know what happened there, and now he's back. So we're going to go ahead and submit the rest of year 1. And once we're in the offseason, we'll probably try to trade Mark Williams, and we'll probably try to trade Lamelo Ball, because that's what I want this video to be about. So we'll see how the season ends. So Jokic wins MVP. Sar is your rookie of the year. Naz Reid's your 6th man. Giannis offensive player. Amin Thompson most improved. And Trae Young is your clutch player. Kenny Atkinson coach of the year. And Brandon Harrison is your executive. So here's your All-NBA first team, All-NBA second, and All-NBA third team, All Defensive first team, and All Defensive second team. So let's go see who goes on and win the championship really quickly. And we can get straight into business. So we got OKC and LA, and the Lakers of all teams, which I normally don't ever see. They never make it to the finals in the 2K sim. They did this time, and Alex Len is their starting center right now. So imagine if they got themselves a legit 5-man, what that would actually look like. So do they win it all? And they do. So just like that, the Lakers win the championship with Luka Doncic as their finals MVP. That is the first time I've ever seen that happen for the Lakers in the 2K sim. So that's kind of interesting. But on retirements, LeBron James going to keep going. He got himself another ring, and he's going to try to get another one, it looks like, with Luka Doncic. So that's fun. But let's go to the lottery, and let's see how lucky we get. Fingers crossed we get number 1 overall, or number 2, number 3, whichever one. I would be fine with any of those picks, because ultimately getting the top 3 in this draft would be great. So let's see if we get lucky enough to stay in the top 3, and we get number 2. So I'll take it. So Blazers got 1. We get the 2nd overall pick, and the Pelicans get 3. Nets 4. Wizards 5. So not a bad start. But now, like I told you guys, we're gonna go trade Lamelo. So I don't know exactly where we're gonna trade him to just yet, but just for this video and the entertainment purpose value, maybe both parties agree to part ways, or maybe he's ready to move on to another situation. Yeah, I think it would be an interesting discussion, and I think it's possible. Not saying it's gonna happen, but I do think it's a possibility. Let's go see what a LaMelo Ball trade could potentially look like. I don't even have one at the top of my head at the moment, but I do know it would cost quite a bit, or at least it should. So when it comes to a LaMelo Ball trade, I can't single-handedly think of the best team other than one certain team that I always default to, but it just makes too much sense to me. Some other teams we can think about, of course, are the Pelicans. Maybe they want to try something here where they can bring him in. Of course, they have the value to do something like that. Brooklyn's also kind of interesting too. I just don't really know if they have the young players to make it work. But the team for me, by far and away, I know Miami could be interesting too, but they just don't have enough assets, in my opinion, for what I want. It's easily, I hate to say it, but it's easily the Magic. The Magic, to me, just make too much sense. Again, I feel like I do this every single time a team needs a point guard, but LaMelo Ball to Orlando, I think I did a video on that too, like a month ago or whatever. So it just makes too much sense in my head for LaMelo Ball to go to Orlando. So that is what I think I'm going to end up doing. Now, I actually need to make Anthony Black accept his option, and then we'll figure out everything else we need to do. But yeah, that's the trade we're going to do, just in summary. So I'm going to build the trade out. But yeah, we're going to get Orlando Magic, LaMelo Ball, basically, because I like Brooklyn, kind of, but I really can't get there. If you guys have any other wild card teams, maybe Toronto could maybe bring something in as well. That could be interesting too, but I just did that with John Morant. Yeah, that's the team I'm thinking of. So let me go build the trade out. But feel free to let me know if you have another team. Utah, I guess, is cool too. But I'd feel bad about sending Lamelo to Utah because obviously I'm trying to send him to a playoff team, and Orlando could be that with him. So let's go build the trade now. So this is the trade we have because, of course, this is as many trade slots as we have. So Melo Ball is going to be going to Orlando to team up with Paulo and also Franz Wagner. We get Anthony Black, Tristan Da Silva, KCP as just salary filler, and 3 first-round picks. You could convince me that 2 pick swaps need to be in here too, but of course I can't, put more trade slots in. I could go in again and do another trade, but pretend this is 2030 because obviously the stepping rule exists, but you can't reach out to 2030. So 2026, 2028, 2030. And yeah, so again, 2 other picks could be in here too. I would not argue with you in that. Melo Ball has been traded to Orlando though, and we got a decent return as well. So just like that, that is already an interesting start to this one. So Anthony Black, welcome to Charlotte. We are hitting the reset button and seeing what we could do with some of those assets we just acquired. And obviously we get to see what we draft at number 2. So number 1 is going to be Flag, of course. Do I go Dylan Harper or do I take Ace Bailey? Or I could take VJ Edgecombe as well. But I think I'm going to take Dylan Harper. So we're going to take Dylan Harper in this one instead of Ace Bailey. So welcome to Charlotte, Dylan Harper to replace LaMelo, I guess. And then we have a late pick here. So you have Boogie Fland, which obviously I had him in the Raptors video. And a lot of people cooked me for it. But I'm going to take him here again. And it's where I drafted him, obviously. I get it. But let's take Eisen here. And we'll call it a draft. So that feels pretty good. Walk away Dylan Harper at pick 2. Could have taken either one of these guys also, but I'm happy with it. Boogie Flan, and then we can take Eisen as well, which, just kidding, we cannot, so we won't accept him, I guess. Player options, Quan Jeffries, of course, will decline. Nick Smith, accepted, and Mark Williams will be traded, I think, because it sounds like they tried to trade him. So, Brandon Miller, of course, coming back to, of course, and then KJ Simpson, Trey Mann, and Wendell Moore are your free agents. All right, for free agency, we do have a little bit of money to spend if we so choose to. But since Mark Williams was already obviously since they already tried to trade away Mark Williams, I'm going to go ahead and trade him. I'm going to also move Brandon Miller to the small forward spot. So we can do that right now because I think we'll have Anthony Black and Dylan Harper start, of course, in the backcourt together. Whether one of them is a point guard, one of them is a shooting guard, we'll figure it out. But I do want to see what we get from Mark Williams. Although it would be great to keep him. Since they did try to trade him, I'm going to go ahead and move him as well. We could get Dalton Connect again, which would be very interesting. Jarris Walker from the Pacers is also kind of cool. But the one, Reed Shepherd. I kind of like the idea of that. But we do kind of have our backcourt right now already figured out. Houston, though, trades for Mark Williams. They already have Şengün, so as much as I like that trade, and then Timberwolves Dillingham. So there's some good offers here. But by far, I think the most realistic one and the one I like is going to be this one from the Kings. We get Jake LaRavia and a top 3 protected pick. Obviously, the Kings could be really bad, and Mark Williams could fit extremely well with what they're trying to do behind Sabonis. Again, obviously getting Reed Shepherd would be great, but we kind of have our point guard spot figured out, and I don't think Houston would do this anyway for Mark Williams. I think they'd put Reed Shepherd in a trade for Booker or KD, and then I don't think the Timberwolves are trading for Mark Williams using Dillingham. That wouldn't make any sense. So we're going to settle on this one with the Kings where we get their pick. It could be a really good pick next year, as long as, of course, it's fall in the top 3. But if we get like the 4th or 5th pick from them, that would be awesome. So Kings get Mark Williams, and that's another trade done. LaRavia is actually not a bad player to bring in either. He probably will maybe start or be a rotational piece for us, so I don't mind that at all. So I'm happy to bring him in too. All right, so Mark Williams is gone. LaMelo Ball is gone. So let's take a look at what this is truly going to look like. So we drafted traded for Anthony Black, drafted Boogie Flan. We have Dylan Harper, KCP. KCP is not going to be part of the rotation, but Nick Smith. And then you have Josh Okogie, Josh Green, Tristan Silva, Brandon Miller. So might have to free up some minutes here somewhere with the small forward spot. Miles Bridges is here for now, but we could also trade him. Just brought in LaRavia, and then we have Nurkic as our starting 5 at the moment, and Diabate. So clearly there's still a lot to figure out here, but I'm pretty sure our draft pick is still protected next year. So I'm not quite worried about what we do, but I'm going to renounce basically everybody here. I also don't know. Do I bring back Trey Mann? Yeah, I think we have to, right? So let's not renounce KJ Simpson. We're pretty much going to bring all these guys back. So I'm going to bring back, let's see how much they're asking for. So Trey Mann's asking for a decent amount. But what I think we can do is we can sign Trey Mann back, and he'll be our backup point guard next year. But if Boogie Flan develops like he usually does, we might move on from him in the future. I don't think I'm bringing back Wendell Moore. KJ Simpson can come back. I'm not bringing back Seth Curry. So let's take a look after that to see what it looks like with player progression. So Simpson's back. Miles Bridges is down. Nick Smith's already up to an 80. Anthony Black's up to an 81. Tijan Salon is up. Josh Green is up. LaRavia is up. Silva is up, and then you have KCP down and Nurkic down. But this would be kind of an interesting rotation to figure out. There's still plenty of pieces we can sell off at the deadline or in the offseason. So there's still a lot to figure out. We're probably going to be a tanking team again next year, rightfully so. There's 2 players we do need to cut. So I can't cut, obviously, Grant Williams' contract. That would be tough to do. KCP, I can't cut him. Can't cut Trey Mann. So I can't cut Boogie Flan. KJ Simpson, as much as I hate to do it, maybe we just have to make a trade. Actually, you know what? Let's just make some trades right now. Instead of cutting some guys, let's like trade a Kogi, and let's trade maybe somebody else too. The Utah Jazz are offering me 2 first-round picks. Obviously, we're not going to take 2 first-round picks from them for a Kogi. But if they want to give me a second-round pick, they're more than welcome to have them. But 2 firsts for a Kogi is just insane work. That's just 2K's Trade Finder, as we all know. But is there anybody else that's just kind of easy to dump off? It would be Nurkic, but I think his contract would be tough to move, clearly. And we kind of need him because we don't really have another center at the moment. So Grant Williams would be someone I would trade right now. And it also could be Josh Green, I guess, technically, too. Since we just have so many other bodies there, I guess we will go ahead and make it Josh Green, which I hate to do. Or we could even make it Miles Bridges right now, which I don't hate the idea of. So we can just trade him right now and kind of see what value we can recuperate. We can just get 1 first. And then, or maybe even just some guy we can cut. So Kevin Huerter, a top 3 protected pick from Chicago. Drew Holiday in a second. No, thank you. It's going to be really hard to just get, like, no one can just absorb his salary, obviously. The Brooks, Keldon Johnson, not really seeing anything. Draymond Green on a first. I mean, no matter who we take, we'd have to cut them. That's the tough part. So I guess we maybe have to make it Josh Green. See if there's anything that pops up here. If not, we just have to cut KJ Simpson, and it sucks, but that's the reality of the situation. So Terrence Mann, Kogi, Mitch Robinson, Rui, Prosper, and Martin is fun, but that's just 2 players we have to figure out what to do with them. Pelicans give me Kelly Oubre, Barnes, and then there's Richards and Martin and Isaiah Joe. So again, none of these are easy. So unfortunately, I'm gonna have to cut KJ Simpson, which really sucks, but that's what I have to do right now. So let's get into next season, and we'll see what the rotation's looking like. So a 3-star balanced rotation right now with what we have going on. So obviously Anthony Black, Dylan Harper, Brandon Miller, Miles Bridges, Nurkic, Nick Smith, Jake LaRavia, Tristan Silva, and Josh Green. There's clearly a bunch of guys not healthy, but I do think we should make this rotation like 11-man deep because there's a lot of guys I want to showcase and I want to trade them at the deadline. So Grant Williams and Trey Mann, once they're healthy, they're going to get some minutes. Diabate is going to get some run as well. But Miles Bridges, to me, is an obvious trade candidate at the deadline. There's some other options, too, like Josh Green that we could maybe move as well. So we'll all figure that out when we're at the deadline. But Brandon Miller and Dylan Harper should lead the way in theory. We should have another good pick, which will be helpful. If we can walk with AJ DeBands on the offseason, that'd be pretty incredible. But we'll see how things are going at the deadline, and hopefully I can make some type of trade to free up more minutes for other guys. So my first hope is to send Miles Bridges away here at the deadline. Funny enough, I'm trying to bring Terry Rozier back. He's an expiring contract, which is why I'm totally okay with this. So let's see if they would do this. So they want to counter. They want Boogie Flan, and I get Drew Smith. Really can't get behind that. I cut KJ Simpson, so I really can't just trade Boogie Flan after that. I could give them their pick back, funny enough, in 2027 if I want to do something like that. But let's try not to do that because that sounds kind of insane. If they're getting Miles Bridges, then we don't really need to do something like that. So maybe just, okay, so 4 seconds. But we get a first-round pick unprotected. I can get behind this. So just like that, we get Miles Bridges out of here. And then the next guy I wanted to trade away was also Josh Green. And I would trade away Grant Williams too if I can, if there's a good trade partner. But Josh Green's another piece because I just have other guys I want to play, basically. So Max Drew straight up. It's not an expiring, which is what I'm kind of hoping for here. PJ Washington. We can bring Washington back to Charlotte too. No, I'm not doing that. So we got Tobias Harris being offered to us. We got Adams' contract. So Tobias Harris is expiring. I guess we get off Josh Green. I don't know. Harrison Barnes in a 2nd-round pick. So Barnes' contract, of course, also expiring contract. So yeah, I don't mind this. We get a 2nd-round pick for Josh Green. Would they want Grant Williams too? Could we find a way to make that work? And then you give me, like, I guess you have Ben Simmons. Like, would you do something like this? I don't know if they would. They're going to counter. No, they're kidding. They're contending. Just kidding. So they're not going to do that. So maybe we shouldn't push our luck. So maybe we just go back to the original offer where we get a 2nd or something like that. And let's see what they say. And they want a first. Okay. And then we get an unprotected. No, thank you. We're not doing that. So let's try this again. So let's go back to the original offer where we're going to get just get out of Josh Green's contract and get Barnes' contract, which is fine. That way Barnes just walks in the offseason. So There it is. So second round pick. We'll just do that. Call it good. And then let's try for a Grant Williams trade and see if we can do something similar. And then Laravia could step up in the rotation. De Silva could be a nice rotational piece. And we can get Max Strus in a second. Terrence Mann in a second. That's a contract we have to take on. And then there's Slow-Mo, who's only on a 2-year deal. So Miami wants another player from us. Gabe Vincent from the Lakers. And he's on expiring. Yeah, sure. Let's do it. So Gabe Vincent, welcome in. And that should free up some minutes for a lot of the guys I wanted to play. Trey Mann is now starting. Anthony Black's coming off the bench, which is fine. Harper still at the 2. Miller, Jake Laravia is starting now, which I like. Nurkic, Anthony Black, Nick Smith, De Silva, Rozier, and Barnes. So Tijan Salon. Yeah, it's fine. I wanted everyone to get minutes. The only player I will swap is I'm going to do Diabate instead of Barnes. So just like that, that's what we'll rock with. Boogie Flan's not on the rotation just yet, but in due time he will be. So far, stats-wise, we have 17.5 from Rozier. Obviously hasn't been playing. Now, I do know Brandon Miller's shot tendency is, I think, which I should have fixed this earlier, is trash. Look at that, 74. I need that to be higher at this point. And Don Harper's is, you know, going to develop naturally. So I'll just leave that the way it is. But all right, you guys at the end of year 2, and we'll see how we finish out. But we should be a bad team and have another good lottery pick. Hopefully we get number 1. That'd be awesome. So at the end of year 2, Shea wins MVP. Flag is Rookie of the Year in Portland. RJ Barrett, 6th man. Wemby, Defensive Player. And Jonas Walker, Most Improved. Luke is your Clutch Player. And Mark is your Coach of the Year. And John Murphy is your Executive. So here's your All-NBA first team, All-NBA second team, and All-NBA third team, All-Defensive first team, and All-Defensive second team. So, of course, we did not make the playoffs, which we kind of figured. Orlando did, though, as the 4th seed, so that's good for them. So here is your finishing stats. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of salary coming off our books, so I actually think we'll have some cap space this summer, so that could be cool. But let's go see who wins the championship. So I'm rooting for Lamelo and Orlando Magic to go far, and they lose in 6, unfortunately, in round 2. But the Celtics go on to win a championship. They beat the Thunder in 6. Retirements. LeBron James, probably going to call it this time, which I will allow him to do. And now we go to the lottery. So, fingers crossed, we get the number 1 overall pick, which would be great. We're second best odds. And then we have that Sacramento pick, which, just like that, the trade we made, of course, where we sent away... who did we send away again? Oh, we sent away Mark Williams, right? So, Mark Williams is going to net us a lottery pick, which is why we made that trade. So that's great. It would be great if it jumped up some. Actually, no, if it jumped up, we wouldn't get it. So it was top 3 protected, though. So I guess if it jumped up to 4, that'd be great. We get 4 and 1. That'd be the ideal scenario. And we do not get either. So we get 5, and then we get 12. So still 2 lottery picks. Pelicans via Milwaukee, and then Knicks via Washington, which is fake. Thunder via Utah, fake again. So 5 and 12. Not bad. So we'll do what we can at pick 5. We'll have cap space. So this team is going to turn around here, I think, extremely quickly. So first and foremost, let's go ahead and see what we can get with these 2 picks. So Peterson goes 1 of all things to New Orleans. So Blazers are going to have Cooper Fleck. Oh, wow. You know, it'd be wild if AJ fell to me, but he's not going to. But man, if I could have the 3rd overall pick, that would have been wild. So Koa Pete goes number 4, and then number 5, of course. We have Darius as an option. We have Caleb Wilson as an option. I think we do take Caleb Wilson here at the end of the day. We traded Miles Bridges away, so he could be our replacement power forward for the future. So we'll take him at number 5 and be very happy with that. And we'll see what falls to us at 12. So Jaden goes, Nate goes, and then Malik Thomas goes. And then we got Jasper Johnson going. So who do we want at this selection? So we could take Jalen Harrelson, Mikael Brown, Braden Burries. What do we want? So we do have 2 backcourt players as, you know, guys we like as backups going forward. We took Boogie Fland already. So I kind of like the idea of... I don't know. I guess we kind of need a big. I just don't know if there's a good one here that we could take. So let's see. So there's Malachi Moreno, which I don't know much about, but we probably should get some depth who can maybe develop for us in the future. So we'll take him. We have another pick in this draft, and we can take Mikael Brown. I was kind of looking at him earlier. And do we have another first rounder? We do. Oh my gosh. I didn't realize how many first rounders we had. Take Kareem Lopez here. And that will be a pretty interesting draft we just had. Obviously, I had 4 first round picks. So Kareem Lopez, Mikael Brown, Malachi Moreno, and Caleb Wilson, all welcome. And we can accept all of these. Yeah, I think all these can be accepted. So qualifying offers, Jake Laravia. Definitely want to bring him back too. And then here was your bird right. So Nurkic, we're not bringing back. Not bringing back Rozier. Not bringing back Barnes. Not bringing back Vincent. Laravia will be brought back. But let's see what this is looking like now. So clearly we drafted a couple of guards lately. So maybe Trey Mann becomes expendable. We have Dylan Harper, Nick Smith. So Dylan Harper is going to start the 2, obviously. Brandon Miller stays at the 3. Silva's going to back him up. Salon, and then now Caleb Wilson. So we could probably, well, we'll figure it out. And then Diabate, I like him as a backup 5, but starting center, not so much, clearly. So I guess what we need to do here is sign a center in free agency if there is one. We have the money to just sign offer sheets, I think. So We could go all in on like Chet Holmgren, which I never am able to do. The Thunder they're gonna match that, but it's worth a shot, right? So yeah, we can go for Jaren Jackson, but don't really want to play him at the 5. Duran could be interesting. He never gets matched, so yeah, we could go for him. There's Hardenstein as well as a veteran presence, which I don't hate the idea of. Yeah, let me throw a bag at Isaiah Hardenstein. I mean, it's a damn good center, obviously. Let's not give him a long deal. Let's give him a 3-year deal. Let's say we have a team option in the last one or in the last year. Let's see if we can get him. So, just kidding. They both accept another offer. So Thunder match my offer sheet, and Hardenstein also goes back to the Thunder. So we strike out on both those guys. We're gonna renounce everybody here. Like I said, we're not bringing any of these guys back other than Jake LaRavia. So we'll renounce all of that. All right, so after that, we have, well, centers are actually now gone. So we don't even have another center option here. I was going to maybe go for Duran, but I'm actually kind of glad he's not here because I get him quite often. Well, I guess, wait, is he still here? Mark Williams is the only center available. Or no, Duran is still here. I guess I would scroll down a little bit. So Duran, do we want to go for him or do we want to trade with, do we want to trade for a 5? I'm going to see if we can trade for one really quickly because Duran is what I often get. So I'm going to see if there's an option where we can trade for one instead. We have so much depth everywhere that I think we would be okay with doing it. So let's go see if there's a center that I like the idea of bringing in. So looking at kind of the center pool we could go for, obviously Wembanyama fits the timeline the best, but that's not going to happen. There's no way we can pull that off. So Sabonis is interesting too, but he's 30 years old, so I probably won't go that direction either. The one guy I kind of like the idea of, we're trying to sign a veteran, and Jarrett Allen could be interesting, especially if Cleveland was ready to finally make a different change. So that's what I'm kind of thinking right now. Duran, we could still sign Duran as well. That's still an option. But I think I want to see if we can get Jarrett Allen on this team. He's 28 years old, but he'd be a nice veteran presence on this team, and he'd be a really good center for us, obviously. So we'll start with Trey Mann's contract because he is expendable with how many guards we have, and obviously there's a lot of guys we can trade as well. I'm gonna throw Kareem Lopez in here because I just don't know if he's ever gonna get a ability, and we could throw Salon in here too, but I'm gonna try to keep him out of it for now. We go Boogie Flynn and Mikael Brown. Well, I think Mikael Brown will be good, but I don't know, or maybe we could just do it without trading either of them. We could trade De Silva as well, or we could trade Anthony Black as well, which could be interesting if Cleveland would want him. So Trey Mann, Kareem Lopez, Anthony Black. The only reason I say that is because we have a lot of options here, but let's go Tristan Silver instead because I think he's probably the most expendable right now out of everything we have. We can offer a Heat pick, and let's see what they'd say to this. So this for Jarrett Allen, maybe we do it without a pick offered, and they want a 2027 unprotected. They'll throw me Jalen Tyson though. That's not a bad counter offer. Oh, I don't want Mitchell, sorry. So let's try doing it without. Let's say we do that Heat pick in here. Oh, okay, so we got it done. So yeah, it could have been nice taking Tyson, but I didn't want to trade my pick next year. So now you have Anthony Black, Mikael Brown, Boogie Flynn, Dylan Harper, Nick Smith, Brandon Miller, this is Salon, Caleb Wilson, and then Jarrett Allen and Diabate. But with obviously LaRavia still sitting here, we're going to resign him, give him a nice deal. He'll be our backup 3 going forward behind Brandon Miller. So I like that a lot, and that will be our off season. So we'll see how that goes, but pretty excited about what we've done so far. So Jarrett Allen is not completely safe on this roster for the long future, but I do think, like I said, he really helps everything we need right now. So Anthony Black 83, LaRavia is up to 82, Boogie Flynn's already developed nicely, and then Mikael Brown 75. So all looks extremely good. We'll see how it works out going into year 3. This team could, in theory, be a playoff team with how much talent we have, but we shall see. 3.5 proficiency with this starting 5, but in due time, this team is going to be extremely good. I think I'll go to a 10-man rotation, not 11, but it'll be Anthony Black, Dylan Harper, Brendan Miller, Caleb Wilson, Jarrett Allen, LaRavia, Nick Smith, Tijon Salon, Boogie Flynn, and Diabate. So not bad. And you still have Moreno and Mikael Brown winning the wings as well for development in the future. Now, shot tendencies, obviously, Brandon Miller's is high, which is good. I want Dylan Harper to take another jump this year. So these are the 2 guys, and I want to be the leading scorers, obviously. So we'll see if that works out the way we wanted to. I will see you guys at the end of year number 3. So far, we're off to a very poor start, so that is not good. Do we have our pick next year? I'm pretty sure we do, which is why I didn't want to trade it. So 2027 pick, which is good. I'm quite surprised that we haven't won a game yet, though. I thought this team would be a lot better, but not at all. Wow, this is by far the craziest record I've ever had so far. So we're 2-16. We're horrible. What is going on? So 20 points from Harper, 18 from Miller. I don't know. Very weird, but I will simulate the rest of the season. It would be crazy if we somehow turned this around and made the playoffs, but with the way things are going right now, it doesn't look like that's going to remotely happen. A little shocked by this, honestly, perplexed. I thought we could be a playoff team, and man, was I wrong, but I'll see you guys at the end of year 3, and I guess it's going to be another year where we're just absolutely dreadful. So yeah, the season never turned around, which I'm quite surprised by. I did not ever imagine this team being that horrendous, but that is the record we got in 2K. So very flabbergasted by that. We finished up at 20-62. I didn't think what we had warranted that, but I'm not sure why that was the case. Maybe it's just we were super inefficient. I don't know, but we had 20 points for Brandon Miller, and yeah, I guess he wasn't that efficient from 3 for him, by his standard, I guess. Harper, I don't know, man. I'm not sure why we were so bad, but we were, and we'll have to figure it out in the offseason. But there will be development, and it's just kind of perplexing to kind of think about what just went down. The Blazers made it to the conference finals, but Orlando, by the way, made it to the finals, which is fun. So do they win it all, though, is the question. And they do. So Lamelo Ball and the Magic win a championship. So that's awesome for them, while we're just still dreadful and horrible. So it's a good thing he got out of here, right? Well, I guess we'll have another really good pick in the 2027 draft. We have the best odds at #1. But we get the 2nd overall pick. So the Brooklyn Nets via the Knicks. So that's from, obviously, the Mikal Bridges trade, which is wild. And the Jazz via the Lakers, which I think is from the trade that brought the Lakers D'Lo and Vanderbilt or something like that back in the day. But I guess we got to fire Charles Lee. Like, I'm not saying it's all his fault, but that season should not have gone as bad as it did, in my opinion. So we're going to go for, like, Nick Nurse if he'll sign. We'll offer for Tyronn Lue, and then we'll offer for Quinn Snyder, because those 3 guys all would do great, I think. We'll get Quinn Snyder, which is fine. Quinn Snyder's our new head coach. Bring him in. And now we'll head to draft night. So on draft night, we have the 2nd overall pick. And we also have 28 from the Mavericks. And that's it. So we'll see if we get #2 overall. As far as this draft is concerned, let me refresh my memories. You have Stokes and McCoy at the top. So I'm assuming these are the 2 guys to look at, or Arenas too. So we'll see what we do there. But on draft night, we got Tyron Stokes. So I think I'm going to take the point guard and Brandon McCoy. So welcome to Charlotte, Brandon McCoy out of Rutgers. So him and Dylan Harper, I don't know if they've played together or if they're playing together right now. I actually have no idea. It'd be pretty cool if they did, but they're both from Rutgers, I believe. I'm going to let my assistant GM take care of this one, and now we'll see. So Brandon McCoy was 79 overall right away, so that's great. Hunter Greer, and then Everett Teague, which we won't worry about him. We'll two-way him. And then Harper and Salon will accept. Qualifying offers, Anthony Black, 9 points, 6 assists. I might let him walk. We're going to probably bring back Boogie Flan, who's going to develop really nicely. And I don't know. Do I let Anthony Black walk? That's a good question. Or do we let Nick Smith walk? 11 points, 43% from 3. Maybe we can't let any of them walk. They were all pretty good, I guess. So Nick Smith, though, is asking for a lot of money, so I don't know if I can get there. Anthony Black never could get there either. 36 million. Oh my gosh. Kyrie Irving has suffered a season-ending torn ACL. I just read that live, by the way, as I'm recording this. And I just recorded a Mavericks video. That is brutal, man. Wow. Dallas is down bad, man. Wow. So that video is going to be weird. It hasn't gone live as I'm recording this, but dude, we're going to offer Brandon Miller his extension. I'm not paying Anthony Black that much money. I can't get there. Diabate doesn't want that much. What has he done for us, though? Let's see. So you're averaging 3 and 3. I don't know if I can get there. So we'll go Brandon Miller, but I don't think I can re-sign Diabate. Well, I'm not going to renounce them for now, but I don't know if I could sign them to that much. That's crazy, man. So I didn't think the Kyrie Irving injury was that bad, but apparently it was. So I don't renounce anybody just yet, but I'm going to re-sign Brandon Miller, like I said. So we'll get that done. And then Nick Smith is asking for way too much money. So I can't get there with him. Anthony Black, I definitely can't give him 30 million. That's just way too crazy. So Brandon McCoy, Mikael Brown, Harper, Brandon Miller, Jake LaRavia, Tijon Salon, Kill Wilson, Jarrett Allen, and Moreno. All right, so I think we have to let these guys walk. Other than Boogie Flan, we're going to let Nick Smith and Anthony Black walk. That's just too much money. Unfortunately, it's not going to give me the bird rights to re-sign Boogie Flan, although we should have cap space to just sign him outright. Let's see if he's here. So he wants 20 million as well. Like, what are we talking about? I mean, it might let me just offer that to him, but I can't get there. So back up 5, we have Neemias Queta, Luke Cornett, Quinn Post, Looney. We could go Brendan Clark, I guess, or we could go Neemias Queta. Either one. 6 points, 4 rebounds, Cornett, and then Landale. Or we could even, I don't know, we just let talent just walk away, though, technically. Moreno might develop enough, so maybe we just rock with him next year. So the only thing I'm going to focus on, I guess, is bringing back Boogie Flan on his qualifying offer, because he hasn't done anything to prove to me he, deserves 20 million. Just like Anthony Black and also Nick Smith. That was just way too much money to trade or to sign. And we just drafted a point guard. So, and then Boogie Flan might develop enough to where he could start this year. So, yeah, I mean, he's up to an 83. Harper's up to an 87. Wilson's up to an 83. So, Mikael Brown's already up to an 80 as well, by the way. So, a lot to look at when it's all, all things considered. So, now point guard rotation is, well, we can move, I guess, Brandon McCoy to the shooting guard. He could probably move up right now if I had to guess. So, yeah, he's up in overall, so we'll do that. A lot of talent here, but we'll see what it all shapes up to be. And then how much did Moreno develop? I didn't even pay attention to that. So he's up to a 76, which I guess is serviceable. But all right, we're going to look at the rotation for year 3. I'm so flabbergasted by Kyrie Irving's injury. Damn, I was not expecting it to be that bad, but I feel so bad for Dallas fans, man. Wow, just brutal. But all right, I'll see you guys at the end of... Well, we'll look at the rotation first. So here's what it'll look like for year number 4 at this point, I believe. So Dylan Harper, Brendan Miller, Caleb Wilson, Jarrett Allen. I mean, it still looks really good. We were really bad last year, though, so I don't really know what to expect. I assume we'll be much better, but I guess we'll see how it starts. So already off to a way better start than last year. Actually, way better. 5-2 on the season so far, so I will absolutely take that. We'll see how we end up, but I would love to be in the playoffs this year after that horrible season. I'm ready to stop being in the lottery, so we'll see if that ends up being the case. And now we're maybe back down to earth and things aren't going as well as we'd want, but we'll see. I'll see you guys at the end of year 4, and hopefully we find ourselves in the postseason, because that is exactly where I want to be. So at the end of the season, we are back in the play-in tournament, which is awesome. McCoy averaged 11 points per game, and where high play-in teams will be in the first leg of the bracket as a 7 seed. But it would be cool if we actually got in this time. So 19.5 from Dylan Harper, 18 from Brendan Miller, 14 from LaRavia, 13 from Boogie Flan with 7 assists, 12 and 9 from Caleb Wilson, 11 from McCoy, and 11 from Jarrett Allen, and then 9 from Mikael Brown. So all this looks pretty good, but all this doesn't matter is if, only thing that matters is getting in, clearly. So this is what the Cavs are looking like. They signed Nick Smith, it looks like, out from under us, and they got we traded Trey Mann to them, duh. So we'll see how it goes. Do we beat them? And we do not. So we get the Knicks or the Raptors. I, again, do not want to be in the play-in in the lottery again. So kind of hoping we just lock in here and beat the Knicks. But it looks like they may win here unless we get back in the game. And it looks like we never will. And we will lose 106 to 103. So back in the offseason again with no playoff berth. But I think this next season will be the last one we do. The reason why I think that, as the Magic made it to the finals again. So we've just seen Lamelo Ball have so much success with Orlando when we've had none at all. But basically, my thought process is that we should have do we have another good pick from somebody? We have the 14th pick via us, which doesn't really do anything for me at this point. But I think there's going to be enough development for this team that we should be ready to contend next year. That's my idea anyway. We'll see if it actually works out that way. But we got 3 guys all signed. We'll two-way him again, our last pick anyway. And then we can accept all of these. All these guys should develop enough to where this team should be pretty insane to look at. But Flan and Salon will be brought back probably. So Salon and Boogie Flan, we'll bring them back because I really want this team to be as good as it could possibly be. And I'm curious to see what player progression is going to look like. So we haven't had success yet, but I think this last season could bring that. I really do. So let's see what player progression looks like. This should look crazy if I had to guess. Let's see. So we have an 88 Dylan Harper, an 88 Brendan Miller, an 87 Caleb Wilson, 85 Brendan McCoy, 85... Yeah, like I said, it looks really good. And our backup center is now an 82. So this all looks incredible. But it doesn't matter if it doesn't lead to a championship. So we'll see. The one thing I might also do is I might bring Brendan Miller's shot tendency down. Don't know if it's his fault, but I feel like ever since I moved that up, which actually I can't even look at that right now. So I'll do that before I simulate this season. But rotation's basically the same. So I'll see you guys at the end of year 5, where the expectation is we're going to be a top 4 seed in the East. That's the expectation. I think the team has developed enough, even though that shouldn't be the expectation because we have had no playoff success at all. But just based on 2K, liking young teams and them developing, it should work out that way. So Shea wins MVP. Dooney Johnson is Rookie of the Year. Garland 6-man in Phoenix now. Wembanyama Defensive Player. Stokes Most Improved. And Brunson's your Clutch Player and Quinn Snyder Coach of the Year. As you guys can see, things finally swung our way, 67-15. So I won't even make this the last season because it looks like things finally turn around. So if we don't win a championship this year, we'll run it back again, I think, is what we should do. So we'll see if it works out that way, but we are the first seed in the East, which is awesome. As you can see, a lot of the teams in the playoffs right now, we got Brooklyn and Washington, Orlando, Atlanta, Cleveland. Well, Cleveland's been here for a while, but a lot of the top teams are gone, and it's now kind of a new era here. Let's take a look at the player stats. So 22 from Dylan Harper, 16 and 10 from Caleb Wilson, 14 from Brendan Miller, 14 and 7 from Boogie Flan, 13 from Brandon McCoy, and 13 from Michaela Brown. Obviously, excellent drafting has been kind of a theme in this video. There's a lot to like here, and things have gone extremely well. So we'll see if it works out to a championship. We can play Miami. So Miami, of course, we made a trade with them earlier. Jaden Sharp in a Miami uniform just disgusts me, but it is what it is right now. In 2K, AJ Mitchell has also come off their bench. It's an interesting team, but they're the 8th seed, so hopefully we don't lose to them. They might come around and we will beat them in 5. And now we have the Brooklyn Nets, who always end up being kind of a tough opponent. They have Edgecombe and Fears. They have Stokes. So yeah, it's a good looking team. For the first time in a long time when I've seen a Brooklyn team be so successful, I'm actually kind of terrified of this team. Usually I'm not scared of them, but somehow they're still really good. But we'll see. Game 1 goes to us. Beat them by 21. So far, so good. And we're going to blow them out, I think. We're going to sweep the Nets. Okay. And we get the 7th-seeded Knicks. Oh my gosh, I was so close to getting Orlando in the finals. That would have been awesome. The conference finals, Cam Christie is developed to an 85 overall. Okay. Max Christie's brother, who's been, obviously Max Christie's been good in Dallas. All right, the Knicks. So they got Jalen Brunson, Mikal OG, Ruzic, Cat, Josh Hart, Macomb Dadier, Deron Reed, and Jalen Williams. So the Knicks were like really bad last year and gave the Nets the #1 pick. We'll see how this goes, but hopefully it results into what we want. So we get the Thunder, Minnesota on the other side. Game 1 goes to us. Game 2, they even it up. Game 3 goes to us. And then game 4 goes to us. And do we beat them in 5? Yes, we do. Just like that, we win the conference finals and win the finals. And now we get to play the Minnesota Timberwolves. So Caleb Wilson, finals MVP, and Anthony Edwards, okay. So obviously Minnesota, always really tough. And now they have Will Riley's developed into a 91. And they have Jalen Duren. This is the best Minnesota team I've ever seen around Anthony Edwards. So definitely am worried, but we'll see. So game 1 goes to us, beat them by 2. Game 2, they even it up. Game 3 goes to them. Okay, fair enough. Game 4 goes to us. All right, let's simcast game 5 and let's see if we can't take an advantage here. But obviously, Minnesota taking the 3-2 lead here would be brutal. But they've put a damn good team around Anthony Edwards, and yeah, so they're going to be down 3-2. So we got a big thing here. We're backs against the wall. And by the way, I still think I'm running a 10-man rotation. So let's take that out and go 9-man. Let's see if 9 guys can get us to a game 7 here. It's going to be somewhat close. Can we ever get back in the game? It's not looking like it unless we still at the end. But no, we're going to lose the Timberwolves in the finals. So Will Riley's your finals MVP. But that was a damn good Minnesota team for sure. But since we're so young, run it back one final year. And we'll see if next year is our year to go win it all. Mavericks have, wow. So it looks like, hey, you know what? Mavericks fans, not all bad. That pick you got for Luka Doncic ended up being the #1 pick in the 2029 draft. So you're going to get some 8th grader who's extremely good, according to 2K. But all right, I'm going to simply skip to next year, and we'll see how we did. So another really good season for us, but all that matters is bringing home that trophy, and here are your stats. So Caleb Wilson is up to a 91 overall, Harper 17 points per game. So obviously it is kind of a spread scoring because of how many good players we have through drafting. But now we get to play the Boston Celtics in round 1, which of course they're usually tough, but we'll see if we can't beat them in the current round, and we will sweep the Boston Celtics. Minnesota does not exist. They lost to the Spurs. Wow. So Atlanta is our second round matchup, which they have. Okay, they have some interesting they have an interesting rotation. And are we gonna lose in 5 or are we gonna get back in it? Nope, we lose in 6. So just like that, it looks like our chance to win a championship was last year. Bulls and Suns, and the Suns going to win it all. So Devin Booker gets a championship. So I guess it turns out that Phoenix can win it all by keeping Devin Booker. So interesting. Anthony Black signed a minimum, so it looks like he never got a good contract again. But hope you guys enjoyed the video regardless. I will see y'all in the next one. This is Crushables. I'm sorry, Mavericks fans, by the way. That's just devastating. I'm saying peace. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you click here to watch another video that I know you'll love.